What if I told you this phone I'm holding is the single greatest smartphone deal of all time? It may not be the prettiest thing, but you sure as hell get the most bang for your buck. Curious why? Well, I'm Alex from Sipno Tech, and you should keep watching. This is the Lenovo Moto Z2 Force, the 2017 flagship phone from Motorola. It wasn't that great of a purchase when it came out at around $700. It also normally looks like this. Inside this aluminium body is a Snapdragon 835 processor that is top of the line stuff for this year. You might be wondering what those pins on the bottom are for. Those are for the Moto Mods, which is a staple for Motorola these last couple of years. They allow you to snap on things like this. A textured backplate that allows wireless Qi charging to a phone that otherwise could not wirelessly charge. And there's a bunch of other Moto Mods out there. You know what the narrative of the Moto Z2 Force is? It's a terrific performing phone. We talk about the iPhone 10, the OnePlus 5T, Google Pixel 2 as some of the smoothest performances out there, right? But the Moto Z2 Force, I gotta tell you, performs admirably, if not as good as everybody else. This thing has the Snapdragon 835, which is the flagship processor of 2017, and the stock Android experience that Motorola has always done. It's a great experience, guys. Like the apps, my app suites flow perfectly fine. The main difference between those phones and this one is, this is an ugly phone. There's nothing about this phone that stands out. And in fact, I actually think this is the ugliest phone of the year that I've used to date. And Motorola really has stalled with their development of hardware. They really just threw it all onto the Moto Mods. We've had the same appearance on the front of Moto phones for multiple generations now. And while the display is a Quad HD OLED one with a high density PPI, this wasn't particularly a pleasant display to look at. I would have liked a little bit more vibrance and saturation as well as darker blacks. The Z2 Force's 1440p display is good for one thing though, Daydream. Yes, remember that? I have had such a hard time finding a Daydream compatible phone in 2017. It was nice to dig the headset out of my pile of unused tech. The display is also supposedly shatterproof. I didn't purposely try to shatter it, but it seems pretty solid there. What it isn't is scratch-proof. This plastic front scratches without being provoked. Moving away from the visual aspect, there are some other weird little quirks about the hardware that left me scratching my head. The buttons, for one, could have been better designed. They're all on one side and are just about the same size and shape. There really isn't that big of a gap between the volume rockers and the power button. They're clicky, which is good, but oftentimes if you aren't looking at it, you'll hit the power button thinking it's the volume down. Without any mods on the Z2 Force, the phone is really thin. It's so thin, you'll need some time to adjust to holding it safely in your grip. That results in an unsightly camera hump, which can be easily damaged, and also an elevated screen to body, which pricks your fingers more often than you think. The rounded edges do make the phone a little easier to hold and use, so that is a good thing. It slides in and out of pockets quite easily, which is really understated for men who keep their devices on their bodies. The thinness also forces the Z2 Force's battery to be a minuscule 2730 mAh. Results are okay for a battery of this size, as I was able to squeeze out about 14 hours a day and about 3 hours of screen on time with heavy use. Another Metacore thing was the front-facing speaker, which is decently loud but doesn't offer much quality with that volume. One terrific thing about the hardware is the front-facing fingerprint scanner. It is fast, good-sized, and very accurate. I was really happy with this one. Looks aside, this is one of the best performing phones I've used this year. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. It's true, performance-wise. Just flat out opening apps, going through your suite of apps, your daily usage. This is actually one of the best experiences I've had this year. It's just not one of the best overall experiences in terms of the phone. Something like this, the Mi Mix 2, it's just, you know, when you're holding this in your hand and going through it, it just feels more special to use. Maybe because of the near bezel display, or maybe because of the ceramic back. It just feels like a more premium experience, and you know, to a lot of people that is very important. What Motorola has done here is just giving you a awesome user experience, but not necessarily a good hardware experience, and that's the narrative. The Z2 Force did remind me how convenient Moto software can be. Things like the Moto display, twist to wake camera, twist to switch camera, and of course the flashlight chop. These are things I didn't know I missed so much until I came back to a Moto phone. And finally, the 12 megapixel f2.0 rear camera, which I had a chance to take to the East Coast for some pictures recently. You can mostly pick up usable, sometimes quality pics using this camera on auto mode. The shutter is, however, very slow at times, which can be infuriating. Images often are more underexposed than they should be, especially when compared with other flagship phones this year. We took the Pixel 2 of us as well, and in certain situations, you see a drastic difference in results. I wouldn't say the Z2 Force has a good camera, but it at least isn't a disaster. So for some reason, T-Mobile is selling this phone right now for $375. And you can, of course, since it is a global SIM phone, you can unlock it and use it on AT&T or other global SIM networks if it has the correct bands, so you gotta check that. But $375 for the Snapdragon 835 processor, which is this year's 2017's flagship processor in the same year, that's unheard of. I really, there is no deal better than this. And on top of that, Motorola still has their promotion where if you buy this phone before December 31st, 2017 of this year, you can submit it for a rebate to get a $300 Moto Mod, the projector mod that you can snap on here, and it has a Pico projector out, and that itself is $300. So you are essentially getting $1,000 worth of retail stuff for $375. That's I have no idea why they're doing this. All the other carriers are still listing it at a pretty high price. This is the best smartphone deal of all time. It really is. There is no deal, at least to my knowledge, and I follow this stuff every single day. I've never seen a deal like this. Unbelievable. And when you add in the whole performance aspect of it, and this is one of the better performing phones I've used this entire year, one of the nicest software experiences I've used probably in 2017. There's just one thing that really detracts from it, and that's the hardware. It really is. It's the look of the device and the build of the device. They're just missing it there. I mean, have you seen a deal better than this for a Snapdragon 835, a flagship processor this cheap? Let me know in the comments below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.
If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell button below so that you don't miss a single video in the future. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!